You feel like you have to decide, to find your thing, your craft, your talent, the artistic endeavor that you're going to make a career out of, and maybe time is running out and you need to find it now. But the issue is you feel like you can't. You don't know what your thing is. You don't know where your passion is. So you need answers. Let me ask you something. Remember the time in your life when you didn't have to worry about this? When engaging in an artistic practice or a hobby was just that, a hobby? It was for fun. It was something that you did just because you wanted to, because you liked it. But now with these questions in mind, it seems harder to do that. It seems like we're getting more realistic and productive by thinking practically, but what if we're actually disconnecting ourselves from what's actually important and relevant? What if I told you that this whole idea of finding your thing had less to do with technical strategies for finding it and more to do with mental frameworks and your beliefs about this whole idea in the first place? Remember this, you already have your answers. You already have them, but you might be blocking them. With beliefs and definitions, I mean, what is your belief and definition of your thing? What does that mean to you? Let's get on the same page. I'm guessing that in your mind, your idea of finding your thing looks like this. Finding something, one singular craft, an artistic endeavor that you are already somewhat good at and that you can excel in, rather than all of the other forms of art. And this will be your career, this is how you'll make money, and this is what you'll do for your life. Now, think about everything that I just listed. Think about the requirements for your thing. You might know the direction that I'm going in. If you are to pressure yourself into finding the one thing that you're gonna do for the rest of your life, yeah, I would imagine that would be difficult to answer. Pressure can disconnect us from the things that are already there and already natural. And this whole concept that you have of finding your thing could be preventing you from being open to actually receiving it. I want you to do this for me. I want you to switch your mindset from what is the thing that I'm meant to do for life to what is the thing that I'm meant to do right now. The answer might seem a lot more clear. The one practice or endeavor that's calling to you right now, but you're not sure if it's your thing for your whole life, so why even bother? Why even try? There's no point. There's no point in wasting my time in trying that thing out. It's calling to me, but I'm unsure, or I'm not good enough at it right now, so there's no point in planning that out. That's a part of yourself that's trying to control everything. And it makes sense why we would want to do it, because it gives more comfort to the mind. But trying to control the specifics of the journey and how this endeavor is going to pan out could be scaring you away from the thing that you're actually meant to do and pursue. And instead of controlling, what we have to do is trust more. Which brings me to my first point. Trust in the plan. Trust in the timing of when things come into your life. Maybe an endeavor is coming into your life because it's trying to show you that you're meant to do this for a year or 2 years or 6 months, but because you're trying to find the thing for life, you're blocking yourself away from that, and you're blocking yourself off from where it's meant to take you. If you're only looking for the one thing that you are 100% sure is going to be practical and make sense for the rest of your life, then yeah, you're probably going to be blocking yourself off from a lot of the signals that your creative spirit is receiving. If you're feeling called to a certain craft right now, you have to trust that. Don't get overly attached and trying to control it or control where it's going to bring you or how the endeavor is going to all play out. That's not your job. That's God's job. Your job is to be open to receiving the things that are meant to come in right now and where they're meant to take you. By having more trust, you realize that the signals that your creative spirit is receiving are valid and true, and you become more open to what's possible. And this is so important because now you are allowing the answers to come in and you are allowing the thing to actually find you. But you can't do that amidst all the limitations that you're placing on yourself. You have to discard limitations. A lot of you might be canceling out certain crafts or endeavors right off from the start, simply because you don't think that you're capable of pursuing those things. But you cannot think small. This is anything but the place to think small. This is your life. This is not the place to settle. Those limitations are going to kill your creative spirit. You have to open the scope to what's possible. If a craft calls out to you, but you believe that it's too difficult or you believe that you're not capable at the moment, you have to switch that. Maybe you feel like something is too big to pursue, but you can do it. You can make films or music or whatever you want. Just because they might be big projects in your mind doesn't mean that it's not possible and doesn't mean that it's not worth pursuing if that's what your creative spirit is calling you to do. And a lot of these limitations might be subconscious, and that's why it's a little tricky to get around, but you need to be open to the scope of everything that's possible. You can't just be open to the things that your mind thinks are practical. Liking a craft or medium of art is enough to pursue it. In fact, liking something, your sensitivity, is a superpower because it's the signals for your answers, which is why you need to be alert. Be alert to the signals that your creative spirit is sending you. Be alert of the things that you like and your inspirations. These are all unique imprints of your creative soul. It's what makes you, you. If your creative spirit likes something, it could be a calling for you to actually pursue that. In fact, it probably is for a lot of you. What do I mean when I say liking something is enough? This is what I mean. If you have someone who's absolutely obsessed with movie making, with cinema, they live and breathe movies. They're a cinephile, but they don't think they're actually good enough to maybe write scripts or make films. They don't know anything about that, so they don't even bother. Maybe they've had a few ideas that come up here and there, but they suppress them because they don't consciously and or subconsciously believe in themselves. But what if the reason why they're so obsessed and enthralled by cinema is because that's their calling? That's what their creative spirit wants to do, and it's trying to make it obvious, but there's something blocking it. I would see this countless times. I was the president of the film productions club at my college when I was in school, and there were so many people who joined the club who had an interest in cinema, had an interest in films, but they never thought of themselves as a filmmaker. And as we all made films together, they actually switched gears over to that endeavor. And they started taking it more seriously and started realizing they could actually put in efforts towards this as an actual venture. They started to believe in themselves more in the craft. And they started to realize that maybe this was their thing. And a lot of them are making films now, writing scripts outside of the club, outside of college. And so that's what I mean when I say liking something is enough. And as I'm talking, if you're resonating with this or if a specific endeavor is coming to mind, ponder on the fact that that could be your thing. And maybe you feel like you don't even know where to start. Well, action is on your side. And that's why it's important that you experiment. And actually, even if you feel like you don't need the stage, this is something that you probably did. Like I mentioned at the beginning, when we were younger, maybe when we were kids, we did hobbies and practices for fun. That was us actually experimenting. That was our creative spirit dabbling in these little areas and then finding the one thing or finding a few things that we really loved, that we really liked. And so you need to experiment. You need to let your creative spirit have fun, to test out the waters, to let it do its thing, and it will give you signs. It will give you signals. And again, the whole reason why mental frameworks and beliefs and definitions are important is because those are your biggest obstacles for those signs and signals that are going to come in from the creative spirit. So as you experiment, it's important to have fun so that certain pressures and limitations and practical mental frameworks are not blocking and killing the whole point of this experimenting process. Action is always going to be better than thinking, what is my thing? I wonder what it is. Oh, could it be this or could it be that? Action is always going to help. Action is the reason why you've gotten those signals in the first place, because you have experienced certain pieces of art and they have touched you and they have called to you. Some of us may get into analysis paralysis where we're between a few things and we're on the edge with everything and we don't know what to choose and we're just delaying ourselves. And usually in that case, it doesn't really matter what you choose. If you are so close between all of them, anyone is going to be sufficient for your journey right now. So just follow your intuition, follow your gut, just choose one and trust. Just trust it. It's a lot better than just staying stagnant. Now, along these ideas of action and experimenting, I believe that one of the best things you can do for yourself if you're in this phase of finding your thing is to commit to a project, a serious project. Not serious on the level of it needs to achieve something specific, but serious on your commitment to that passion project. So pick something that calls to you. If you're like the person who I described above, you're enthralled with cinema, you love filmmaking, but you don't believe in yourself, I want you to commit to writing a script. For once, place those self-limiting beliefs to the side and commit to writing a script. For a short film, or if you're feeling super ambitious, a feature film. I know a lot of people say don't write a feature script right from the beginning, but there are no rules in this thing. Just trust yourself. Commit to making a song. Commit to buying a canvas, making a painting. Commit to doing a big drawing or writing a story. You can learn so much about yourself, your creative spirit, and what you like through the experience of going through a whole project. I went to film school and I learned so much about myself on so many different levels. Technical level, artist level, soul level, human level, through every film that I did during film school. Every film where I really felt I committed myself to it. And this might be the one thing that you need to do right now. Maybe you are meant to commit to a project that's calling to you, and that's going to inform you on things you need to know about yourself during this point in your journey, where you're at right now. And again, liking something is enough. You don't have to think practical here. Choose something that you're going to enjoy and get something out of. You don't need some kind of prior skills or experience to pursue this project. In fact, this is your experience. This is for passion, this is for fun, and this is for your creative spirit, the most important part. Standards on everything else, the outside world, other people, is only going to harm you. And it leads me into my next point. Don't shy away. Don't shy away because you're not good at it right now. And the reason I put that in quotations is because actually a lot of the things that inform us, or we think that inform us about whether or not we're good at something, come from the external world. It comes from maybe what other people think, or what you think the rules and standards are for this specific artistic medium that you're engaging in. But why would you make something that fulfills some kind of exterior quota or standard that you don't like yourself, that you don't enjoy, that you don't think fulfills your own soul? Because I'm telling you right now, if that piece of art does not fulfill you on a soul level, then you probably weren't engaging your creative spirit in the practice. So your own heart and intuition and your creative spirit transcend everything else right now. Don't think about how others are going to perceive it. Feel the work with your soul. Create something that resonates with your soul. That, I believe, is the standard. Something could be calling to you right now because that's the endeavor that your creative spirit wants to go into, and it would be a shame if you block that away, all because you think that you're not good enough at it, or not good enough right now. If you just have a little bit more faith in your own creative spirit and the things that your soul is guiding you towards, this will free you. And with all of these things in mind, if it didn't become clear already, look at the obvious. The obvious one thing that is calling to us could be made that, just obvious, after all of these mental frameworks are confronted. All of the approaches that you're taking to this whole concept of finding your thing in the first place. If, while watching this video, you are thinking of the one thing or the one endeavor that your creative spirit is calling you towards, but your mind is blocking it, well there, boom, that's your thing right now. Keep it in mind. We already have our answers, and often they're right there in front of us, but we block ourselves from it. We cascade ourselves. And that is the artist's journey. The artist's journey is not about mastering some kind of technical skill or learning some kind of rule about a craft. It's not about those technical things. Those are all great things, a part of the journey, but the real artist's journey at its core, at its foundation, is about the soul and reaching the soul and bringing the soul out and allowing it to do the work for you. It is actualizing the creative spirit, listening to the creative spirit, which in a lot of cases is just looking at the obvious. So if you have been thinking about one thing, one craft or endeavor throughout this whole video, then there it is. That's your thing. Finally, go all in. Go all in. Commit to it. The long-term mission. Go all in on the thing that your creative spirit is showing you, the thing that you know you have to do deep down inside. Like I said before, don't settle. This is not the place to settle. If you go all in and you don't hold yourself back, I promise that there's a magic within you that has been dying to come out. It's been calling to you, and you need to answer that call. God didn't give you that dream or vision for no reason. It's there for a purpose. And until the day that you start to pursue that, there's always going to be something uneasy in your soul. There's always going to be some kind of unrest. But the sooner you do that, the day that you acknowledge that truth and acknowledge the thing that you know you have to pursue deep down inside, that's going to be a great day. And why not today? Once you acknowledge that thing and you know that thing, you find that thing, you pursue it, and you commit to that long-term journey, you go all in, and you find a way to sustain the magic. And if you have found your thing, and that is your concern, upholding this relationship and journey, you can check out this video to help you out with that. Thank you so much for 40K subs. This community is a blessing in my life. It is such a gift to be able to do all of this and have everyone resonate with the content as much as they do. There's so many big things ahead for this channel. Subscribe for more videos. Check out the Patreon for exclusive content, the blogs on my website. Go do the work and enjoy your life. God bless. Dream on.